An error occurred. Go live. There we go. What's up there, POV fam? It's your girl Nick here with their POV with Nick and King. So sorry that we are starting late, but glad you guys are joining us today. As you can see, I have two kings that are with me today. King will not be here, but King Sean, aka Reese, and King Douglas will be with me today. So I got my two kings. Welcome and thank y'all for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. So listen, y'all know how we do. We always start off with our weekend. How was your weekend? And then do your shout out. Let's start with you, Reese. How was your weekend?
It was busy, but yet fun. One of my friends, he turned 50 again. There's a lot of 50s going on this year. Myself was one of them. And I got a chance to experience my 360 photo booth, which I used it there and got a lot of, good vibes with it. Got a lot of good comments. So looking forward to that, to promote that later on in the future and get busy with that. Other than that, went to see my family and had to come back here to make sure I was here on time. So
you were here on time. Technology was tripping. Thank you so much for doing that. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. You want to give your shout out?
Oh, just shout out to my family and friends, everybody. I'm just, like I said, I'm still on, I guess, travel mode, trying to, I think we all right there right now, but this is going to be a good show. I'm ready to jump right in.
All right, now, Douglas, thank you for joining us. How was your weekend? And give you a shout out.
My weekend was okay, and I really don't have a chance to really do too much and everything. Just trying to stay cool in this triple-digit heat weather that we got here in Texas, and just glad to be back on here again, and just want to send a shout out to everyone that's tuning in. Shout out to the Queen, and I made sure my alarm clock was set so I won't be missing out and everything. So
you were on time. Thank y'all so much. And shout out to David. David has joined us. So welcome. Welcome to everyone who is watching or watching on the replay. My weekend was amazing. I'll skip over all the deets, but I will do my shout out. So my shout out goes to my future husband, wherever you are, whoever you are. I know we have not met yet, but I know you are somewhere praying and preparing for me. And I'm doing the same thing for you. Hey, boo, hey, you have an amazing wife waiting on you. All right, that was cool to do that without King laughing. That was real cool. Without the hater hating. He's supposed to be somewhere in the audience. So when y'all see him, give a shout out. All right, so y'all ready to hit the topics?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, so our first topic that we're going to be talking about. There are a lot of people that have heard about the story. Some of you have not, but so this week it went viral how one of the performers at the Sesame Place theme park, not Sesame Street, because Sesame Street has been very adamant that is Sesame Place, not Street. One of their performers who actually played the character of Rosita from Sesame Street was snubbing the Black little girls that were in the audience. And if you've watched any of the videos, because there are several from several different angles, he or she was greeting everybody else but little Black kids. And in the particular video that is like most viral is you literally see them doing their hand like, no, I'm not giving you no hug. And so as y'all can imagine, there was a lot of outrage about it. And the mother / auntie, because it was her daughter and niece that you saw in that picture, spoke out and was talking about how devastated and disappointed the children were to not have one of their favorite characters, not only not greet them like they were greeting everyone else, but literally did this to them. So Kings, y'all have seen the video. I don't know if you've seen any of the other ones, but I want to know your thoughts. So, Douglas, let's start with you. When you first saw it, what was your first thought?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I had to look at that video. I had to watch that video about like 3 or 4 times because there was a comment that was made, and first of all, I was really, really disturbed about that. You know, and
What
I know
comment that was made? What comment that was made? You're talking about?
I believe I heard them. They said that the costumes are not performed. They perform where sometimes they might not see anybody below them, like if they low. And so that's why I had to go back and rewind and watch that video again. And my thing is this: that's dramatized to these kids, and for where this performer was at, there was no way that he could not see those 2 girls because he was looking directly in their direction. And then not only that, but how are you gonna miss them, but you went and greet the other ones right beside them? So I mean, I grew up watching, that, and I put it out there. I dressed up like Barney years ago.
Come on, Barney.
But there was no way that this performer that wore this costume could not see those 2 little girls there. When I was dressed up in the Barney costume, I see every kid coming towards me. So I was able to reach out and hug them and high five them and everything. So, and the look, I mean, the look that they had on their face.
Yeah.
When he or she, whoever it was in that costume, just walked right past them and then turn around and high five them, everybody else. They had that look on their face like, why he didn't come to us?
Yeah.
Why he skipped over us?
Yeah.
And that's something that no child should ever have to go through.
Yeah.
And I don't blame what the mom and their attorney is doing. They need to train these people that get into these outfits to perform and make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. Exactly. These kids get excited when you see them on TV all the time, and now you're going somewhere where you can see them in person, and you're sitting up here waving and getting their attention, and he just want to just, I'm not coming to you. That's just not right. And I was really, really heartbroken on that because a child is going to be scored on something like that because in their mind, they trying to figure out why this happened, why he gave love to everybody else, but not us.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's just, they need to do more of a better job in training their people when they go out and do things like that, because a lot of people will take it as a racial situation.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody's notifications are going off. If you don't mind silencing them. David says they purposefully ignored these children. I agree with that. Here's the crazy part, y'all. If the person in the suit claiming to not have seen the kids had to just walk past the kids, that'd have been one thing. They literally high-fived and hand-shook people that were right next to the kids, looked at the kids, and then went and kept going right next to them, and then shook hands with the kids next to them. And I've seen several different angles, and that wasn't the only performer that had done that day. So to say that you can't see the kids, that's so much bull. I can't even describe how high that pile of bull is to me. That's a big cop out, because if you can't see that much in a costume, why are you in it? Like, you should not be able to walk without kicking something, tripping something, falling over something, but you had no problem ushering yourself over to people that were not Black and speaking. And my thing is this, because they're talking about training them. If you don't like working with the whole public, don't work with the public. Sean, what are your thoughts on this?
My thing is, like Doug said, back in the day, I was the Noid at Domino's Pizza. I played that part, and I had to put on that big, heavy costume. And the eyes are so big that it is built for you to see around you. So it's not just you singling things out to just see just in front of you.
Your
They're big enough.
peripheral. You can
Yeah,
see the
it's
peripheral. Yeah.
peripheral where you can see everything, so you can walk because so you can not trip over or make sure you see where you're going. So,
Yeah.
and for him to say he didn't see those kids, at first I was like, okay, maybe not. But then we said he did that to more black kids. That's
Mm-hmm.
when I like, oh yeah, because like you said, he high fived the one kid, then went to the next one and shunned them off. And to me, it's not only about training. You got to have a love for people and to be a people person to do that, because if you're going to be interacting with the public, you have to be able to get along with the public. So
Come on,
don't
that's
put me
exactly.
somewhere, yeah, that I'm not comfortable and I'm not a people person. I got to go up and do everybody, shake people's hands. Don't put me in that position. So for him to say that and he didn't see him, it's a bunch of stuff. So
Is a mile high pile of
yeah.
crap.
And like you
And
said, with the kids, that's who I feel sorry for, because they're gonna have that image. And like you said, why he didn't come to me? Why he didn't, give me a high five? And he gave that little kid a high five. And like Doug said, that stuff can have a lasting effect on kids later on in the future.
What?
exactly. And it's the that they did. Like, it's one thing if you don't want to interact with someone of whatever race, but like you the kids. Like, every child knows what that means. So what did
Right.
that mean to them in that moment? And okay, I have this thing with someone with bad customer service. You don't need to work with the public if you don't like the public. But you're working in a costume that has a specific population for the public, and that's children. If you don't like kids, you don't like black kids, you're in the wrong freaking field. Why is that your job? That just
Exactly.
makes no sense to me. You don't like
What?
kids and you don't like black kids. I'm gonna get to you just 1 second. Hold on one moment. Oh, that's my brother and sister. King is not here today, but my other kings are here today. So enjoy the show, big brother and little sister. Love y'all. And my mama says good evening, everyone.
Hey, Mom.
Hey,
All right, go ahead with your comment.
you know, like I said, Nikki, I had to watch that video so many times, and what really hurts is when you see them two girls, they looking right at. I'm saying the distance where he was at, or she, whoever was doing it, and there's no way they could miss. But when they went over, walked right past them after they just hug and high five to the ones that was beside them, then they're gonna walk right past them into my and then they just turned around and followed and see this person greeting other ones. I saw the hurt on them
Yeah.
girls' face.
Yeah.
I saw that hurt, the pain, and all that they felt on that, because just like I heard the mother say, sometimes she had to. It was hard for her to explain. But no kid should never ever go face something like that. And there's no excuse whatsoever to treat a child like that. How would they would feel if somebody did that to their kids and
Exactly.
everything?
So I have a question for the two of you. Okay, I'll get Sean when he gets back. Do you feel that person should have been immediately fired, or does this require the action that they said they're gonna take, which is to do training, to give them some more sensitivity and I forgot what else they call that training, racial bias training. Do you think that that's what this requires, or should they have been fired?
Both. Person should be fired right on the spot. And then not only that, but they need to pull everybody up who's going to be in a costume and go over every detail. what they expect for them, what
What is
their job.
tolerated and what's not
Yeah,
tolerated. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
there should be, but places like that. I think I heard the mother say they say anything just to try to get over. But that person should have been fired right then and there, because first of all, that they're not thinking, because that would look bad on the company, on the what is it, Sesame
Be
Place.
placed in the theme park. Hey, big sister.
So that person should have been fired, and then after that, they should shut everything down, and anybody who's going to walk out there in a Sesame outfit and everything, they need to go through the training first before they even go out there. Look, this is what we expect of you. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to be dealing with. This is how this works. So everything needs to be lined up. Everybody should have something where I would say they need to sign. So they sign an agreement to what has been trained to them and taught to them, and they be held accountable for their action.
Okay. So, Sean, I want you to answer the question before we move on to the next topic. Do you feel that that person should have been fired immediately or receive sensitivity training or whatever they're calling it?
First of all, when he got to the job, all that diversity, racism, all that stuff is in your training, because any job you're dealing with the public, that's one thing the company gonna look at, because their name is on the line. He didn't know he was being recorded. He didn't think, he had probably done it so many times that this one time he got caught.
Mm-hmm.
So that training that you was talking about, I'm pretty sure they got somewhere in his records where he done signed, say, yeah, he'll do this and he'll do that. He understand this and everything else. So this was a personal issue with him. So I don't think training is going to make a difference, because if you had that training, your thoughts and your feelings are going to be the same regardless. But if he would have went out there and knew it was a camera on him, he would slap every little black child, white child, anybody that was in his path, if he knew he was being recorded. So right there, yeah, he should have been fired right then, because, I mean, once as a supervisor, I would have went back, looked at the tapes, make sure, okay, let me look at this, to make sure that it wasn't a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got everything together, like, nah, yeah, you gone. So, and we're not dealing with that. But that training, I'm pretty sure when everybody comes to that job, they sit down and their policies and their rules and regulations, all that stuff is set down, and you sign that piece of paper and they put it in your file. So if they have to come back, that stuff is going to be in there.
Right.
So that's, to me, that's something that's in him or her that, so.
My thing would be this, and then we're going to go on to the next topic, was that actually part of the training? And I'm going to tell you why. One of the first statements released after Sesame Street said that was Sesame Place. They are licensed as a theme park. So, like, don't be putting that on us. That was them. The next statement that was released that I heard was immediately they're going to make everybody go through training. And I was thinking, okay, you're not saying that we put our employees through specific training. This should not have happened. They were saying that they're now going to make it like it's mandatory now. So my question was it never spoken about? Was it more about make sure you're not touching children inappropriately? Was it more about being careful that you don't harm anyone because that you're liable? Was it that type of training and no one thought to add in? Because I know a lot of places are very specific when it comes to even words that you cannot say because that's considered a specific act. But they didn't address that we do train our employees and our performers. They never said that. I didn't read it. I read them that they said we are going to require. So I'm like, that wasn't already a requirement. And then the other part would be if it was already offered, like you said, if it's just in you and that's just you, it wouldn't matter if the news was on you. What's in you came out. Like you had no problem in front of the crowd or that those children's parents telling them no, like this is what they did to the kids. And kept on walking. So if that's just in you that deep, I don't think a rule, a regulation, signing a piece of paper is going to change what you're going to do. You just don't need to work with the public. Go ahead.
And I think just like with being in the military, and you know, back then always been the sexual harassment thing, anything, you guys making jokes and everything. But as soon as someone hear it, we got to have training. We just had 5 trainings. But every time it's brought up, oh, we got to have this training, sensitivity training, we got to do this. So even if it was the basic training, they said, oh, just to, I think to save face, oh, we're going to train again to mention this part of it because we didn't leave this in. So before, where the guys had the calendars in their office, we didn't mention that in the training last time. So now, along with the other 4 things, we don't want the posters hanging in the wall that could be offensive to people. Now that's another part of training. So I just think they, like you said, probably wasn't in-depth training, but something was probably said, and maybe not, that, because I'm pretty sure these companies do stuff to cover themselves to say, well, we get that, but maybe we need to get more in depth. But we did talk to them about certain things that you can and cannot do.
Got you. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely need to do it again because, like I said, if you watch all of the videos from that day, that wasn't the only performer that did that. And I was just like, wow, just like the whole, everybody gonna do it. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. All right, so I don't know if you all remember the Turpin Children. It was a group, I think it was 13 kids in total, whose parents kept them locked up and didn't feed them. And those children were living under horrendous circumstances. So here's the crazy part. These children get removed from that home. They get placed in foster care, and 6 of them are now suing the Riverside County foster care system because some of them were placed in homes that had previously had a lot of complaints and reports because those parents were abusing the children. They went from hell to hell number 2. And them not checking on the children, them just making sure that the welfare of the kids was not done. And so now they are suing the Riverside County foster care. What did you think about this story when you heard about it? Let's start with you, Douglas.
I'm sorry for the pause.
That's okay. We can come back to you if you need to.
It was really disturbing, and it's just that these people just didn't have no heart, no passion, love for these kids for where they were put at. And I mean, this is not the first time. And I mean, there were other kids was placed in the same home that was abused. And I think in 2018,
reported that the father in that home had been allegedly sexually abusing those children too.
And, you know, it's frustrating. You know, it's just like they only concern is just placing these kids somewhere without doing a background and investigation. And if this been going on, this is telling me that this thing was swept under the rug. They didn't have no caring, no loving, no nothing for these kids, knowing that this is not the first time that this situation took place. And if this been happening before, why would you jeopardize putting these kids in the same place where this was action like this was being done? And I know it's just like, I hate to say it, but most places it's always about the money. It's about the money. As long as we can put these kids in this house and everything, and they get the money and all that, that's the only thing. They're not looking into the safety of these kids. And when stuff like this go on, somebody has to take the initiative and step up and investigate these places, making sure why did you place these kids in the same place and getting the same treatment? The father was sexually abusive. They were hit with sandals.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And, you know, they were getting hit. They were getting hit with shoes and all this stuff. It's just like they didn't care. They didn't have the well-being for these kids. And for these kids to go through that, and for that one who stood out, Jordan Turpin, she stepped up and said, this is what was going on. This is what's happening. So my thing is this. What's up with the government? What are y'all doing? You just trying to put them somewhere, just place them in a way, and you don't look into it, and you don't take the action that's taking place, and you don't act on it, like you don't care.
Wow.
I mean,
what about you, Sean? What are your thoughts? What do you think when you first heard it?
My thing is, it's a sad situation where you take kids out of one situation where they're already being mistreated to make them go through the whole thing all over again with a total stranger. And when those people have been reported before, and like Doug said, somebody's not doing their job. And so they wouldn't want to be put in that situation if it was them or somebody, if it was in their family. So if you have reports of people doing this, don't just say, well, we have to put them somewhere. Well, you're not even making that situation any better. If you can't put them somewhere that's going to be safer for them, where they can have a better way of life and a better way of living, I mean, what's the use of placing them somewhere else that's worse than what they was probably in? So I agree with them being sued, because this might bring attention to somebody like, you know, wait a minute now, we need to get a better system here, because this is bringing attention to us. So every time we go out to do something, because so many kids are
Lost,
lost in the system, and, you know, never seen, and the person's getting that check, and they got 15 kids staying in a 3-bedroom house, and you like, and they keep getting these checks.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about it. And I mean, it's almost like you running what they call them, dog kennels or dog places. You just doing it for the money. You're not even consider those kids as humans, because you're looking at that check and what you can get and what you can earn, and still treating them like they're inhumane. So they should sue the city. They should sue the worker, everybody that's involved in that system, and put the people that's in there in jail. But that's like I said, I don't understand how these people can do that and get reported and not get prosecuted.
And not be investigated. And the investigation should not be, I go to your house and say, are you abusing kids? That is not an investigation. Because I'm going to say, no, I ain't never touching kids. So before this particular lawsuit came about, I think it was last year, I watched Diane Sawyer interview Jordan, the young lady that left the house where they were living with their parents, escaped and called the police, and that's how they got rescued. Her and one of the other sisters were interviewed, and to hear them say that they did not receive proper counseling, they didn't receive proper services, they didn't know where the money was going, because, you know, they received a certain amount of money to help them when they became adults and they aged out of the system. They didn't know where a lot of those things went, how to do certain things. They were not taught those skills that you're supposed to when you're going through systems like that because of those situations. They weren't taught any of that stuff. And so it makes you wonder, not only where is the money going, but who is following the paper trail? Who is governing what is happening? Who is governing the case managers? You know, and for children coming out of a situation like that, there should have been automatic counseling set up. And when they were moved to the new foster care, there couldn't have been any check-ins or any visits or counseling sessions going on, because the children didn't get the opportunity to tell what was happening. That stuff would have come up in sessions. It didn't even come out until I think one of the kids was older, had aged out, and was talking to a counselor or someone, and that's how they found out what had been going on. So I think there has to be a lot of reform. I know these workers sometimes are overworked. I know they are backlogged. I know some of them they have way too many cases for one person, but I also know a lot of stuff gets undone, And an investigation should not be, if I'm investigating reports of you abusing and sexually abusing children, I'm just going to ask you and you're going to tell me no, and that's the investigation. You know, the children need to be talked to. They need to see psychiatrists. It's just so much. It's a lot of reform. And I really, as we end this one and go on to the next topic, I really hate this for those children, because you went from hell number one to hell number two. And then when you age out, you just get released out into the world. You just get released out into the world. Like, I there's so much reform that needs to happen. So if y'all don't have any other comments, we're going to go on to the next subject. We good?
Well, I just want to say one thing. Like you said, I just feel, like you said, they be released out into society and not given a fair chance as a child. And when they get out, everybody look at them like, what's wrong with them? But they don't know the story or the history that they went through, and they still need problems. But society is now looking at them and they become an outcast. When it's not even their fault, and they still need help. And, it's very sad that, like you said, starting from a child at innocent age to grow up going through that stuff and to have to live through that even after you escape that part and become an adult. Now you have to deal with society and the rest of the world and judging you and talking about you. So
that is so true. Haven't had work with the program that worked with foster children and those who aged out. Talking to some of the ones who aged out, they didn't even get taught the basic stuff while they were in foster care. So when, a lot of them don't end up getting adopted. They kind of just go from home to home. But then when you age out, you are released. But you're released without regular basic skills. Some did not know how to write a check. Some didn't know how to write specific letters. Some didn't even know how to go seek out resources to help them, because you just do whatever you're told to do. You understand what I'm saying? So I think there has to be a lot of reform that happens. And I would encourage anyone watching, if you have free time and you don't mind fostering or even just being an advocate for children that are in the foster care system, that would be amazing, because they sometimes don't have advocates. An advocate is simply someone that can be there with them in court, that can be there with them for specific appointments and those type of things. And I'm sure your city's website would have more information if you're interested in that. But we definitely need some reform. All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic. We're talking about Kim Burrell's backlash over her shady comments that were made. I don't know what just happened. There we go. So this is not like new, hearing about Miss Kim Burrell. If you don't know who she is a gospel artist. Her making specific comments when she's at a church singing or about to speak or whatever. But sorry about that. Recently, she was there to sing and was making it. She insulted. Okay, so I was talking about some of the things that she did say. She talked about, and I think it was meant to be a different type of conversation. It went left, but she was saying basically about us raising our standards. But in the process of talking about it, she was kind of demeaning people who lived in trailer homes and people who were ugly. I mean, it was a lot. It went left really, really quick. And of course, there was a lot of backlash, because some people feel that she's privileged. She got money and she's rich, and you're saying things to people that are your audience that are not living the type of life that you're living. And then you get shady with it too. She did release an apology, but a lot of people are like, that apology really did not sound like an apology. Kings, we're going to start with you, Reese. What were your thoughts on? Do people have the right to be shady just because they're in the pulpit?
I don't think so, because those same people that's out there in that audience that's coming giving you that money, that don't have a lot, but they just feel in their heart that they have to give something to the church. And you sitting up there talking about that person where you think you're making jokes, but that is really hitting them on the inside, where you're talking about, yeah, y'all, whoever got these PPP loans and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, lady, how you know what's
going in?
I mean, you sitting up here, and then she talking about, I come to your church too. It's not, I don't charge that much. You don't charge. You're talking about people. I mean, you just really somebody in the audience that really was, that took it personal. I would have been one of the persons going through things. And I'm like, why is she even saying this stuff? I mean, you're there to inspire and encourage people and uplift the people, but you sitting here throwing shade at people and making them feel worse than what they are because you had a certain status. But have you always been there? You probably one of these people in the audience at one time. So your voice and the voice that God gave you put you in a position where you are now.
Yeah.
So imagine one day that something happened, you can't be in that position, you can't sing, and you back in the audience.
Yeah. Cause she was going in, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Y'all go to YouTube and all you gotta do is type it in. Y'all can see. I don't want to repeat everything, but she really was going in and everything was a joke. And so here's one of the questions I want to pose to y'all, because a lot of the backlash came from why were so many people laughing and okay with what she was doing? Why is that something that we are not checking? Because if that had been someone and they weren't in church and had done something like that, everybody would be calling for them to be canceled. Everybody would have been going in and saying that that's not right. She shouldn't do that. But because it's in church, we amen everything and we okay everything. Do you feel that it's okay to say what you want to say because you're in the pulpit behind the mic, Douglas?
No. You got to be careful what you say out of your mouth. And because you don't know what somebody's going through.
Mm-hmm.
It might be somebody for the very first time going to church and want to get their life turned around and everything. You have to be mindful what comes out of your mouth when you're standing behind that podium.
Mm-hmm.
And the key thing is this, who is she to judge? Everybody has a downfall. But so what's somebody go for a PP loan or live in a I had it written down, trailer home. You're judging people. And then not only that, when you're sitting back and you're talking and you're downing and belittling people, because why? Because they're not at your standards. How long it took her to get where she was at? Because nobody's perfect. We all have some downfalls. We all have some setbacks. But the thing is, people come to get encouragement word, not to be judged for who they are or how they live or what they do. And I think she just overstepped her boundaries, because I ain't gonna lie, I had to replay that video because I was like, I know this woman is not standing behind a podium talking about, oh yeah, y'all can have you, but I don't cost that much and all this kind of stuff. And it's like you telling people, oh, they can't afford to come and see you. You don't know what people can do. But if somebody's going through a hard time, going through some trials and tribulations, they don't need somebody on a podium belittle them and judge them. Because one thing is this, the way she came off, that would deteriorate people to come to church because they feel like they're being judged. And then not only that, but if they coming out of their way and they come to church and they they give money and everything and all that, but you're gonna lash out, because like they say, once you put it out your mouth, you can't take it back. You cannot take it back. You can't say. That's why it's very careful. Even myself, I mean, when I go and speak on a podium and preach the word, I got to be mindful of what I say, because you never know, it might hurt somebody's feelings. And that's but I know everybody that comes in there is going through something. There's some people going through some financial situations. People's going through anything in this world. And so what? If somebody go apply for a PP loan, that's their business, not hers.
But a joke at somebody's expense and throwing amen behind it and throwing praise Jesus behind it, is still hurtful, harmful, and can be considered judgmental. Just because I say praise the Lord behind it did not make it okay for me to say that. There were some things that she said that you know how when you say something shady and ugly and people are laughing, and I don't know, you kind of feel like you justified in saying it. You say something like, praise the Lord, and people were praise the Lord. You behind that microphone and being in that pulpit, and because you're the person on the program, does not give you the right to be hurtful. And I'm not talking about Kimberly, I'm talking about anybody, because I have been in a few churches where the person gets up and I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with the program. Wow. And putting people's business out in the street and talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with, I mean, and y'all better say amen. I'm not gonna amen that. I'm not going to do that. So we have to be super careful being the people. But I'm careful on this show. It's a lot that I want to say that I'm not going to sometimes. And it's a lot that I'm going to say allegedly, because I have to be mindful and careful. But then too, I know people watch because I get the messages in the DM of how it's helping them in their family. So I got to be careful with certain things that I say. Well, you have to take those things into consideration. There is power when you're behind a microphone and it's in your mouth, and there are people there to hear what you have to deliver. You're not going to deliver me insults and then throw praise the Lord and glorify God and all that stuff in behind it. That doesn't make it okay, and it didn't make it righteous. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, and a lot of times the status and the position of that person, people are scared to talk to them or say something to that person because they want to be associated with that status of that person. So her being who she was, a lot of people gonna say, "Oh man," but go home about she knows she was wrong for that. But you're not gonna tell that person because of who she is. But that average person that could have said it, the average person that wasn't on TV, if they would have said that in another venue somewhere, everybody, I don't know why you sitting up there saying that in the pulpit, but because of who she is, people not gonna say anything. So if you hold a certain status or have money and all this other stuff, people are scared to talk out against you because it's almost like if I say anything, I'm gonna be blackballed, and I want to stay in this little group and on this little bandwagon with everybody else that I can say, yeah, I hang out with Kimberly, she my friend. She don't know you, but you want to be part of that status and part of that little group that rolls with her and everything. So,
and she did. I have to say this. She did release an apology.
Allegedly.
No, that wasn't alleged. I saw her apology.
That was a alleged
Oh, I get what
apology.
you're saying. People were like, there wasn't no apology, but she did. So Nikki gonna show grace, because I probably have. I know I have. I've said something that I shouldn't have said on the microphone. My thing is this: going forward, anybody, like, just because it's you on the program or you the one behind the mic, it doesn't give you that right to demean people and to talk about people like. Even going as deep, and I know it was the joke, because she was mentioning people raising their standard. You got to find out if they live in a trailer or a home, or if they got the what is it, the lights in they so and so name. Like, I get that, but then too, there are also people that are going through stuff right now that the lights are in somebody's name because they've been turned off in theirs. And I'm not trying to make us a super sensitive society, but some things we permit and we call it haha. And it's not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you can't say what you want or walk on eggshells, but some things is just, come on, pass the common sense test with it. You don't have to disrespect the whole congregation. So
Exactly.
But she
I
did.
mean, for you to come out and call somebody ugly, I mean, come on now. Or you put your kid's name on the gas and electric bill or whatever the case is and all that. That was uncalled for. First of all, what was her purpose of bringing that up? And for anybody that can sit up there and be, you know, laughing and giving a amen and all this stuff, and just like Sean said, they probably looking at her because, Kid Burrell don't know you from west to east. You probably don't even know where she live at. You don't know anything. You just trying to be an add-on and everything. But the thing is that you go there to speak on one thing. You're not there to down people. You're not there to hurt people. There are people out here that's hurting, and they're just feeling lost and they need some words of encouragement. And that's where we stand up for and behind that podium is to give encouragement, give somebody some motivation, determination, some inspiration and everything, not to judge them for the situation that they in. And she don't, if she can stand there and think she knows everybody's situation out there, then no, there's no way. And you just and say, who are you to judge? Who is she to judge?
Yeah. I
You
don't,
know, and
you know, not saying just to Kimberly, but just period. Like,
it,
I just think we gotta be, we gotta, yeah, but she did apologize. So we gonna show grace. Let's go on to the next one. I can't wait to hear y'all thoughts on this one. So viral video. I know y'all have seen it. So they're calling her the ungrateful, I'm gonna say woman. So this woman here, her husband or living boyfriend, whatever, but her husband surprised her. He bought them this house that you can see right here. And he didn't tell her. He had her blindfolded, drove her to it, brought her out the car, took the blindfold off, and she was like, you bought this? And you can see her, she was really trying at one point to be like, and then he's like, I took all the money that we saved. She heard that, it was like, wait. And I think it was starting to really process and sink in. It was not the home of her dreams. She did not get to do it with him. She began to really pick out everything that was wrong with the home. And he was absolutely disappointed and crushed because he really thought he had done some good stuff. She was not feeling it at all. They ended up arguing. That's when the video actually ends. He cuts it off, but y'all watched it. What were your thoughts, Sean, when you saw that?
To me, even though he tried to do something good and thought he was doing a great thing, a purchase like that you feel that that's going to be your home for life, I think she should have had some input on the decisions on what they was doing, what house they wanted to live in, stuff that she like, just come to agreement. I mean, it wasn't like he was going out to buy her a ring or something that, if she didn't like it, maybe we can get you another ring. But when you make a purchase like that, a house, and like you said, it wasn't where you walk in as a mansion or anything. Even if it was a mansion, you're like, I don't want nothing this big. But I think when you're making a decision like that and you're together, I think both sides should be in agreement to what we're going to live in. Because just because you like it because it has a basement, oh yeah, this is the perfect house. But she's not in agreement because the master bedroom was upstairs and she wanted on the first floor.
Right.
So it's a lot of things that you got to look at before you say, okay, this is our dream home. So I applaud him for trying to do something, gentleman-like and, but a decision like that, I think he should have consulted her before he jumped out like that.
From watching the video, Reese, did you feel she was being ungrateful?
Yeah, but she was being honest. She was like
she was honest, ungrateful.
I ain't even trying to play because you know me. This is not what I. So she was herself in what she was doing when he thought he was doing something good, and we look at it as being ungrateful. But she's like, "This is not what I want." So I'm not going to pretend to be happy. And some people would have been, "Yeah, it's nice," and she just showed her true self on that video that I'm not even going to pretend I like this because you did something without me. Maybe some people would have went about a different way, a little more calm, but that's her personality. So, a lot of people say she was being ungrateful and the way she came off, but to me, I'm like, she was real with it.
She really was. She was like, it got oil stains on it. She wanted a 3-car garage. She said they had 3 cars, but that was only a 1-car garage. She said that house reminded her of the house she grew up in and she wanted better. He couldn't get past, but you don't like this? But I did this for us. And she was like, you did this though. And I did not see her as ungrateful because there was a point when she was trying to shake off how she felt and say, thank you, baby. But he was so hurt and disappointed by that point. He was like, man, you ain't never happy with nothing. And I agree with you, Reese. A house is not a pair of shoes. You cannot say, you know, my wife didn't like these oil stains, so we're gonna get his house back. No, you bought that booger. And he
Yeah.
was like, we can always fix it up and flip it. But for her, it was like, but we've been saving, right? We've been saving for a house. So she probably was looking forward to either what she had been dreaming or what they had discussed they wanted this house to be. I don't know what made him go and get that one, but that don't look like that was something that they discussed. And she got to the point where she couldn't hold it in anymore and was like, nah, I don't like it. I can't pretend. I don't like this at all. And there were so many people though that felt that she was ungrateful. I don't see that as ungrateful. You cannot return that. That was not a bad bra.
Yeah,
That was
even if
not a pair of shoes you can't fit. You can't return that. Go ahead.
even if it was a house that they got and they said, okay, it's not what we want, but we can fix this up. I have a vision of doing this. And he like, yeah, I can see this and I can put the grill out here. She like, yeah, I can see my study over here. It's not the house they want, but they can see a vision of them making it what they want. And that's them together instead of him like, yeah, we can do this. And I see me doing this to this, but she has no input in that.
None.
And like I
And the
said,
money
this
was
is a
gone.
house. Yeah, this is a house. You ain't taking that receipt and taking it back. So I won't change this out for something else.
Right.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see ungratefulness. I saw shock. I'm trying really hard not to say I hate this because he happy about it, but everything in her face was like, we ain't never talked about nothing like this. So yeah, I don't think she was ungrateful. What about you, Douglas? What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is I agree with Sean. You know, and just like you say, if you get a pair of tennis shoes and it don't fit you right, don't look right, you can always take it back and exchange it. But you can't do that with a house. And this guy here, you know, went out of his way to try to please her and make her happy. But the key thing is this: you know what you want, and how you want it, and everything, and that's what you look for, and that's what you expect. And like, you know, you already have that, how they would say, you got this vision, and when you got that vision of how you want your house to be, where you want it to be, and everything, and now he tells her, hey, I got a surprise for you. Now she goes to this place. It's not even anything that she wanted, you know. So, you know, and when it's just like you say, now she might want a bedroom down on the lower level, like Sean said, but now they got to climb up the stairs and go to the bedroom. She might want a big size den. She might want something special, but I won't say she's ungrateful. You know, I think she was like, I'm happy that you tried.
Yeah, that was the look on her face, like you tried, but this ain't it. Let me ask y'all this.
I appreciate you. I love you, but this is not what I really want. You know, and like I say, when it comes down to something like that, it's got to be a mutual agreement. And you have to come together and say, okay, look, this is our future plan. We want to go buy a house. How you want the house? You know, just kind of draw a diagram or something. How you want the bedroom? How many bedrooms? How you want the kitchen? You want wooded kitchen or pine wood cabinets? Or it's a lot. Yeah. So when you come together on that and everything, then it will work out perfect. But in this case, I give the man his props. He tried to satisfy her, make her happy, and go ahead and get the house, but it's just not the house that she dreamed of.
Let me ask you this though: did he? Was that his intent, or was his motive to go buy what he wanted right then and right there? Here's my question to you. I asked you guys, was she ungrateful in your opinion? Was he insensitive in your opinion? Reese, do you think he was insensitive in what he did?
I don't think he was insensitive because I think he was doing it for good because he wanted to surprise her. He put the blindfold. If he did it for him, he would have gave her the keys and just like, look, this is where we staying at. But he thought he was doing something great. He thought she was going to be happy, surprised. Look, my man just got me a house. And so, just doing it to surprise her and to hope that she was happy that, look, I just bought you a house. And
but let me ask you this though, Reese, off of what you just said. If it was to surprise her, she don't seem like a woman that don't tell you what she wants. It seemed like she gonna tell you exactly what she want, how she want it. Did he take what she wanted into consideration? Because there was nothing about that house that she liked. Nothing.
But also have the conversation been said exactly what they want. Maybe they had the conversation, baby, I want a house one day. And that's the conversation. Never how many bedrooms, or all the conversation was, I want to own a house one day. So some people always say, we want a house. We want to own a house one day. That's how I dream to own a house. But not until you start looking and say, okay, wow, yeah, I want this. Some people have a vision of what they want. But if that conversation was only, baby, I dream of us. We're going to save for this house. We're going to get our dream home. He thinking he getting you a dream home because he just looking, it's a house. So, and women are more particular. A guy, when he got that house, if it had a man cave, she can have the rest of the house, but he thinking he doing something good because he like, I gave you a whole house. All I got is this one room. This all I want, but you got the whole house. But this not the whole house that she wanted. So he thinking he doing it more for her than for him. And when it comes out, it's like, she not grateful. I did all this for her. And
I'm gonna be honest, Reese, and then Douglas, I'm coming to you. I don't feel like that was all about her. I really don't think all of that was just about her, because they were having a dialogue during the video. They were saving money for a house. I don't know nobody that's just gonna look, okay, you my husband, Reese, let's get a house. Okay, so you start saving. There's no more conversation. You've never driven to go see what type of home you want. You've never gone online and looked or talked about, man, I can't wait till I get a pool. Like, I believe that was a conversation had because they have been saving. And the fact that he took all of it, because he said, I used all the money. She was like, wait, you used all the money? He took all the money and then bought that. The look on her face was like, why would you even? They don't even look like something that I wanted, because she said, is it purple? So I don't know if they talked about having a purple house, but she just like, is it purple? And she was mentioning things as if we talked about this. We got 3 cars. You got a 1-car garage. That don't even make no sense. So it just feels like it was toward surprising her and doing a good thing, but I'm not sure it was just all about her, because it didn't seem like none of whatever they discussed was there. And then the house really looked it looked like he went and made a quick decision. I'm gonna be honest, it looked like he made a quick decision.
And that's what I was saying. He took it as he thought he was doing something good. He got a house. This is what we can afford. I'm going to surprise her with the house. And it made that, like you said, that quick decision, because he thought, to me, I'm getting my wife a house. But not thinking this is a house and not a car or a pair of shoes. But I'm doing this to try to make her happy. Even though, like you said, they may have talked about it, but in his mind, this is a house. I'm getting her a house. Ain't nothing better than getting her a house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could have went either way.
Yeah, but it didn't go good.
Yeah, not at all.
Unfortunately, that didn't go good at all. I don't know what happened in that house that night. Go ahead, Douglas. Do you think he was insensitive?
For the way it sounds, I would have to agree with you, because if they really did talk about what they want, but he just decides, well, this is what I want. And as long as, I think he had that mind mentality, and I might be wrong, but I think he had that mind mentality, well, as long as I got her a house, that's all that matters. And the thing is, if they already discussed, what color they want the walls, how they want the bedroom to look, how they want the dining room, the living room, and all this good stuff, and everything, and they discussed that, but he just went out here and just spent that money and everything. And he basically just went and got the first thing he saw, even though it didn't have everything that she wanted. She wanted something purple. Maybe she wanted the walls to be purple or the bedrooms or something. But I think it was more of him than her, because if like like Sean said, if they have sat down and discussed it and talked about it and came to agreement, and the money wise, she just know that everything that she wants is not in that house. So he just probably figured, hey, this will be great. This looks good. I'm just gonna go ahead and spend the money, and she's gonna be happy with it because I'm gonna surprise her. So
that's what I was saying. It felt like he thought the surprise part about it was gonna make her love it, and she kept trying to. She was like, okay, well, hold on, well, maybe you can see her wrestling with it because she just did not like it. But so you don't like it, and she's trying to be like, I really don't like this. But he was like, so I bought you this, and you don't like it. She was trying to. So when he kept saying, but I can't believe I bought. So it was like, okay, was that about you buying it for her because you love her, you wanted to surprise her, or in your mind, she gonna love this because you were thinking about you a little bit more. Not saying that his motives were wrong, but I don't think she was considered in that purchase because there was nothing about that house that apparently they ever talked about or agreed with, nothing that they wanted, and all the money was gone at that point. So it's like, am I going to be able to fix it up how I want it? Because you don't spend everything.
I mean, his heart was probably in the right place, but the thing is, it seems like everything was you and not her, and she just like, got that look like, yeah.
He said, no, I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I don't love this.
I don't like it, but I think also too, she don't want to like hurt his feelings and everything. So but the thing is, it's not about him. It's about him and her. It's two people together, and you got to compromise, and that's where compromise comes. And once you pay on that house and you give that money, you can't get that money back. You must as well just wave at that money and say bye.
Reese said you cannot take the receipt. Reese, were you about to say something?
Oh no, I was just listening.
Reese said you cannot take the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So here's our next topic. I don't know if y'all have heard, but the Republicans have put a new bill to consider before the Congress called the Unborn Child Support Act. Now, this would allow the mother to collect child support while she's pregnant, and it would actually be retroactive from the day of conception. I didn't send y'all that one on purpose because I wanted to get your in the moment thoughts on that.
No.
But what else? So also it would be the courts that would determine what the payments would be. And she could literally collect from the day it was said that she conceived. Reese, what are your thoughts on this unborn, hold on, let me see what it's called. I want to say it right. On the Unborn Child Support Act.
So they also need to make a bill, if this baby is not mine, you need to refund me my money act.
Run me mine with some interest.
Yeah. I got the receipt. So give me everything I done paid to her. Either you pay or she pay. It don't matter. Because Leroy down there is the baby daddy.
Not Leroy.
Leroy that baby daddy. I'm not the papa. So all my receipts, all this child support that y'all determined that I need to pay, I need that back. I need that back. Because my bank account ain't set up like that. So I need that back, all that back.
Yeah.
That's
Douglas, what were your first thoughts?
Ooh. They out of their minds, whoever came up with that idea. Because basically just like what Sean said. Ain't much I can really say. I mean, Sean hit it right on the nose. I mean, you can't predict who the father is going to be. So if a woman is pregnant and they're going to hit it, put my name down right then and there, and I'm not the father, like Sean said, I want a receipt. I want that money back.
There are definitely a lot of questionable flaws. I mean, I haven't read the entire bill that was placed before Congress, but if someone has sex with two people within a certain time frame, and you assume that it's this father, so that it does automatically payments you got, but then it turns out to be it's a lot to that. But I got to ask y'all this: do you think this would curtail males from impregnating females that A, they have no intention of really being with, and B, having children that they have no intention of taking care of? Do you think this type of bill being put in place would make some people pause? Because now you're not just going to do child support from birth until the day that they're birthed until 18. It's from conception.
But the thing is, you got people that got 8 kids that know all 8 of them are theirs and still don't pay child support.
That too. But I'm just, do you think though do you think in any way this would cause a pause?
No, I don't think so. Because they still gonna take that chance and be like, because that feeling gonna get there, and they're gonna like, they don't even know nothing about this bill until somebody say, "Oh, you got to pay this." What you talking about? So not until it happens, they're not gonna know about it anyway. But then if it start getting around, they're gonna still take that chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think the bill is gonna make a difference. So,
Douglas, is there a pro to this bill? We talked about some cons. Is there a pro to it?
I don't think so. Because I mean, they can try to pass laws like that, but it's not going to stop a person from, like if you got feelings and everything, and the feelings is involved, they're going to still do what they're going to do. And they just need to take that and just throw that law right out the window.
Wasting our tax money.
Sean,
bottom line.
Why do you think they presented this to Congress, Reese? Why do you think they even came up with this?
To me, somebody just sat there and thought about something and like, hey, let's do this. Because it don't seem like a logical thought that, okay, and maybe maybe not, but maybe some of them senators done had some babies, but no, that's your baby daddy. That's like you said, that's Leroy baby. So go ahead and put Leroy name down there and take me out of the equation. So my name can't even come up. So we're gonna blame this on somebody else. So that's why, like, this bill. I think this bill is bogus, because does it say anywhere that if I'm not the father, does my name come off that birth certificate, or what happens after that?
We don't know. I honestly
exactly.
Don't.
But they're gonna put you responsible for something that's possibly not even yours.
I'm coming to you next, Douglas. I'm wondering if they are doing it to, in their minds, make these the fathers that are not being active and not taking care of their children and being absentee, if they think it's going to cause them to stop making babies without consideration, maybe start using some more condoms. And then I'm also wondering if it's because while you're pregnant, you can be on all kind of government assistance to help you through the pregnancy, right? Everything from WIC to food stamps to Medicaid. But if the father is taking care of the child, there's less on these systems. And I'm wondering if that is the mindset in behind it. That's my, those are my thoughts on that. What about you, Douglas? What do you think the reason is for them putting this in place?
Because they probably ain't got nothing else better to do.
Oh, okay.
Because to come up with something like that, that type of allegation. I mean, they just trying to find something just to throw in there, and because they probably can't figure out anything. You know, you got some fathers out here are in their kids' lives doing things for their kids. You know, so if they think they're doing this, that probably to maybe get into a man's head and his mind, you know, oh man, I heard about something about a bill. I don't know if I want to get intimate with this woman, you know, because first thing, like they say, if they wherever they know your name's going to be put on that birth certificate, and you might not be the father for that baby. So I just think this is just something that they just trying to toss around and waste taxpayers' money.
But my thing is, you got women that know the man is their baby daddies and still fool around with them. Know they're not paying child support, and the police can come to their house and like, we looking for something. He ain't here. What you looking for? And he laying upstairs in the bed. So I don't know what a bill
Hide in
is
the
going to
closet.
prove. Yeah, I don't know what a bill is going to prove. Matter of fact, he's sitting on the couch drinking a beer, and they look. Ain't that him? No, that's not him. What you in my door for? You can't come in here. You got a warrant? What? But he not working, and you still taking care of him, and he not taking care of his kids. So, I mean, what they gonna solve by putting somebody's name on something, unless there's some type of consequences that affect that person financially, personally, that is gonna affect their livelihood or the way they live. Until that happens, they're gonna keep doing it because ain't no consequences. They put your name in the system. Oh, you in the rears, but okay, what that mean?
Other than taking your license and what is the other one? You can get jail time. Taking your license, getting jail time, being in the rears, owing the government a lot of interest. And then every time you get a job, they take it out your check. I don't think there is anything else.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they could ever put in place to make it like somebody's gonna really stop before you finish this act. And you know what I mean, wrap that thing and wrap that thing up. But I ain't gonna lie, if one of the reasons in behind it is to stop having so many children without fathers and people living on the system because the father's not in the home, I'm not saying that that's the answer, but I wish there was one, because ultimately it's these babies. It's these babies that, you know, they got to go through life without sometimes both parents, because she may have it and give it to her mama or the auntie or somebody or the foster system. But, you know, these kids don't have fathers in their lives because we getting our whole freak on and somebody walking away like, well, hey, whatever. So I don't know. I wish it was something that would make people think, you know, I might not like you. We might can't be in a relationship together, but we have a child together. And that's what's important to me. Our last comments, we're going to end the show, y'all. It has been so wonderful. Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to come to you first, Reese. But before I do, I want to remind you all to catch me on any place that you love to listen to your podcast. So any platform, you can find me there. I got some news coming up very, very soon about this particular podcast. So please stay tuned for that. You can always catch replays on YouTube. And if you're ever interested in being my king for the day or queen, you want to join me on the stage, hit me up at nikkiking@gmail.com and follow us on all social media platforms. And I forgot, I should have done that earlier. But there's the disclaimer right there. All righty. What are your last minute thoughts, Reese? And thank you again for joining me today.
My thoughts is, first, thank you, Nick, for allowing me to be here. It's always a pleasure. Mr. King, because couldn't nobody disagree with him. Everybody seemed in agreement on here. That's one thing you miss about King.
So and when we did disagree, it was mild, and we kept going.
Yeah, so you know, with him, that's always something new and something exciting. So, but as always, I love being on here just to talk and, you know, get some in depth on different stories that people are talking about and get a better understanding of different things. And like you said, that bill with the thing with the males being put on, that's something new I haven't heard about. So people, it's information getting out to people, and that's things people don't know. So the show is very exciting and very informative. So I just encourage people to keep coming back every weekend, every Sunday, and to support her and, you know, in her endeavors, because she's doing great things. And God bless you, and keep moving forward.
Thank you, Reese. That's so encouraging. I appreciate that. Douglas, thank you for joining me tonight as well. What are your final thoughts?
Well, my final thoughts is this. First of all, bow down to the queen. For for putting a wonderful show together like this. And as always, it was great to come back. And also, too, just want people to understand, when you see this queen comes on, share it. Share it with everybody on Facebook, Messenger, or whatever. Share it, because things that she brings on here, it can help to enlighten you what's going on in this world today and what we're dealing with, things that we don't know or do know, just like this bill. I ain't know anything about that either. So, Sean, you're not by yourself. But other than that, it's very inspiring. And one thing about you, I can say you're very inspiration, motivation, determination. And I just thank God for you. And I'm glad to be able to come back on your show and to be a part of it, and where we can share our opinions and everything. And, well, we know King probably will have a field day on this one. But I hope he enjoyed his birthday, since he had a birthday last week. But other than that, hey, just want everybody to stay encouraged, stay motivated and everything. Think positive. And again, share, follow Nikki, follow.
Thank you, Douglas. Thank you so much. And we forgot for you guys to give your social media handles. You want to call yours out real quick, Sean, so they can follow you as well?
My Facebook page, Sean Harrington at videophotography.com.
Douglas?
You can follow me on Facebook, DJ D Smooth. And well, on there it's gonna say Douglas Smooth, but you can't miss me, believe me. Hit me up, and for all the single ladies out there,
Douglas say he's single and he is ready to mingle. Hit him up. Don't hit him up if you're not serious, though. Listen,
that's right.
With the word of the week, I want to thank all of you for watching. Y'all were real quiet in the comments today, but I know you were watching, so thank you so much for that. And those that will watch in the replay. The word for the week I would like to leave you guys with. The first, I want to say we did give our POV on what's going on with Kimberly, but I want to always be one that extends grace, because Nikki is nowhere near perfect. I'm never going to pretend like I am. And so I know I have sinned, and I know I've done people wrong, and have not always gone back and apologized. The fact that she is a celebrity and she has been dragged through thousands of pieces of mud since the situation has happened, she did apologize. Whether we accept it or not, she did her part and she apologized. So grace to be extended. So that is the word for this week, is grace. Are we extending grace when someone does something that we don't like, that hurts us, or we've asked them not to do and they've done it again? Are we extending grace? So that would be the word for the week. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. And as always, kings and queens, keep reigning. I will see y'all next week. Bye.